Real quick before we get into today's video, just want to thank all the people over on Patreon for all their support, because without their help, the upgraded content that you see on the channel, that you really see in the video essays and a few of the lore discussions, would not be possible without their help. Obviously, the YouTube membership filler arc is still ongoing, but I can say over on the Patreon that you get sneak peeks of videos months in advance. Patrons also get priority on the Q&As. Every 3 months we do an anime and manga haul, and I give away a lot of good goodies in that. And it's also just really cool to talk to you guys in the DMs, and if some of you guys have theories that you want me to talk about on the channel, obviously I will talk about your theories. Just send them to me over on the Patreon. But with that being said, let's get into the review. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys a review for Boruto episode 227. And now that episode 227 is done in the books, we got a lot to talk about, and I already have gotten a lot of DMs from people saying like, hey, why are they saying that Konohamaru is never going to be going on missions with Team 7 anymore? Don't they remember how Naruto had Kakashi with him? Naruto's team wasn't disbanded even though Sakura became a Chunin. Is this a plot hole? Did they retcon this? And I'm going to say no. And I'm going to say two things about that before we get into the episode review. That way we can go ahead and address this up front. As a bit of a reminder, when you become a Chunin, like they said in the episode, you become the team captain of whatever team that you're on. You're referred to as a captain because a Chunin has always been referred to as captain, depending on the translation that you look at. Now, the thing that you have to kind of keep in mind is that Chunin can lead a team of Genin on missions that are C rank and up to a B rank mission. In the Boruto era, there's been a little bit of a change by Naruto. Chunin can now go on A rank missions. So even if it's an A rank mission, you're likely going to see Sarada being the one that's calling the shots for Team 7. That's why when this arc got announced, I kept making all this fuss over the fact that like, hey, they're doing these Chunin exams in order to set up Boruto chapter 58. This explains why Sarada kept calling herself the captain of Team 7 and why Sarada's being a little bit more stiff than usual. It's because Sarada's relationship with her teammates has changed. If you've ever had a job and you yourself have been promoted, or one of your friends that you work with was promoted to a position higher than you, your relationship does change to an extent. And that's one of the things that Sakura was having to hammer home to Sarada. That's why Sarada became depressed for a second, on top of Konohamaru not being there anymore. Now, I know somebody's gonna be saying, well, what about Team Kurenai? They went on missions with Kurenai. Yes, and like said before, a Chunin can lead a team of other Chunin and Genin. Typically, when you see a Jonin accompanying that team, it's because it's a mission that requires the rank of a Jonin to accompany them. Exceptions to the rule do not make the standard. Naruto had Jonin on his team because Naruto was a Jinchuriki and you had to worry about the Akatsuki threat. Boruto and his team, they're very experienced. They've been on C rank missions, and they were even given a B rank mission with Konohamaru in the Mujina Bandits arc. But that's why the Boruto anime had scenes where you saw other teams saying Boruto's team is special, because a lot of those Genin are going on D rank missions. Again, exceptions to the rule don't make the standard. How many times did you see scenes where Boruto's classmates like, oh my god, you guys fought ninja, you guys got in battles? Even with Shikadai's team, they're making a big deal over the fact that, yeah, well, we can go on B and C rank missions because Shikadai is a Chunin. Boruto's team was going on C rank missions that normally would have been given to Chunin, as shown by the Hozuki Castle mission that they were on. Exceptions to the rule don't make the standard. This ain't anything new right here. A Chunin has always led a team of Genin. The whole reason why Genin were given a Jonin to begin with was because the Jonin was supposed to teach them teamwork as well as to train them. This was always a transition process that took place. And one final thing, people ask me, when in the world did Sarada learn wind release? Like I said back during the Hozuki Castle portion, I said like, hey, Sarada used wind release in the Sasuke Shinden, the Teach a Star People novel. I just finished covering that here on the channel. Sarada's always had wind release. And when Sakura refers to Konohamaru finally being free, like I talked about in my video, Konohamaru Special Missions, Konohamaru is part of a very short list of ninja that Naruto allows to go on these S-rank missions as a part of a two-man team. He hasn't quite made the clearance level to be able to go on these missions by himself like somebody like Sasuke. it's an even shorter list of ninja who can go on S rank missions on their own. So yes, Konohamaru is going to be freed up now. Like I've talked about on this channel for years now, there's a lot of story that takes place away from the anime that the anime and manga reference. That's why I cover a lot of the lesser known lore over here on the channel, because I know a lot of people detest reading anything that doesn't have pictures on it. Which leads to some people saying, I watched the anime, I read the manga, I didn't know that this happened, you're making this up. I'm not falling for this. And then when they get to moments in the anime or manga where stuff is referenced, they say, what are they talking about? This is a plot hole. And then those same people get mad at me when I say that it's not a plot hole and that there's more story that you need to look into. And just because you don't know something took place doesn't mean that it didn't take place. And because you didn't know something doesn't make it clickbait. But who am I? I'm just some petty guy who's taking the opportunity to throw shade right now. It's not like I don't have a whole bookshelf filled with the Naruto novels, and it's not like I don't pay to get a lot of them translated that I talk about before they get officially released in English. But I digress. I'll stop being petty now and I'll get back into the episode review. This will be a short review by my standards because there wasn't a whole lot that took place in this episode. I just took this time now to kind of go in depth over a lot of that stuff because quite a few of the people who DM me saying that the Boruto anime was making plot holes and Sarada using wind release made no sense were some of the same people when I looked up their usernames in YouTube Studio. These were the same people telling me I was making up all the stuff I was talking about in the light novels. So yes, I got a little bit petty here. In regards to the actual episode, I have to say I thought that this was a very fitting and very wholesome episode because between the moments where you see Sakura and Sasuke giving advice to Sarada and telling her like, hey, the fact that you feel so strongly and so saddened by the fact that Konohamaru is no longer going to be your team captain and you're feeling all this pressure, it means Konohamaru did a good job as your sensei. Sasuke goes as far as to tell Sarada, make sure you pass down those lessons that Konohamaru gave to you. That's not just in reference to Boruto and Mitsuki technically being underneath her, but when Sarada one day becomes a Jonin and is assigned a team of Genin fresh from the academy that she one day has to lead, she's going to be able to do the same thing that Konohamaru did for her. So I did like seeing that very touching father-daughter relationship. I also thought it was very fitting that Naruto has a moment where he's reflecting in the Hokage office and he says like, Konohamaru took that mission, I let him take it, but at the same time he needs to be a little bit more considerate of his team. This is a big moment for them as well. This is basically them being allowed to leave the house because Sarada is able to lead their team on various missions now. So Naruto did right by allowing Team 7 that opportunity to get closure and to back up Konohamaru. Now, I did think it was interesting that when Naruto's going over the mission report as Kurenai's daughter Mirai is being operated on, we find out that Naruto immediately has a red flag and he says, these are people that Konohamaru should have been able to take out easily. What's going on here? And we find out that Mirai allowed herself to get poisoned so she could escape to Konoha, which was a very daring situation, so they could send reinforcements. And we find out the reason why is Hyogo, the ninja that is in the bingo book that has taken over this village and used the village as a way to hide from detection from the Anbu Black Ops, had kept everybody in the village hostage, and Konohamaru was trying to buy time and send time for reinforcements. And I get why he would do so. Konohamaru could take out those bandits and etc. neg diff, but the issue that you have is all it takes is one innocent person being killed because Konohamaru wasn't fast enough to take all of them out, and it's just a sheer volume number. All it takes is them being on guard that Konohamaru is acting on his own and they could kill somebody. So that's why Konohamaru was trying to wait until the fog fell over the village before he was able to act. And I like how Hyogo realizes what Konohamaru is trying to do in terms of Konohamaru's holding out for some type of reason and orders the innocent people to start being attacked in front of Konohamaru. So I thought that that was nice to see. I also like how This episode plays up one of the things that the Academy teaches young shinobi, which is a ninja must learn to see past deception. So when Boruto shows up in his sexy jutsu, Boruto's got one of those bandits looking like, oh man, yeah, you stumbled into the right village, baby. I'm about to bust all types of nuts inside of you. I might have to go down to the courthouse and put myself on child support. Essentially, Boruto during that time thought he had the dude all roped up, and when you look very closely, Boruto's actually smiling. It's a very sly smile. It's a very small thing that the animator did, but it's in that moment that Hyogo, the rogue shinobi that is taking control of this village, immediately stops everything. He says, who are you really? How did you come out to this place? And Boruto is shown with a frown on his face immediately after the fact. And that's when the whole revelation comes out that, oh, Sarada's already evacuated the citizens and the fog is falling over the village, and Mitsuki has used his white snake in order to incapacitate the bandits that were on the outline of the village. And you see Boruto break the sexy jutsu, and we get this moment where Team 7's just clearing through all of these large numbers of bandits very quickly, no type of difficulty at all, which again backs up Naruto's suspicion that these weren't any type of powerful ninja that they were going to have to deal with. These weren't even ninja, they were just mere bandits. However, the ninja that's calling all the shots, Hyogo, is using the fog as a way to try and escape. And we get this beautiful scene where Sarada and Boruto use wind release together, and they rocket Konohamaru towards the guy. Konohamaru uses the Rasengan to take the guy out. I thought that that was nice, and I like how Konohamaru buys a little extra time by saying like, yeah, you know, the mission's not over until we get these people back on their feet. And you see the wholesome scenes where they're rebuilding that village together. I thought that that was a nice touch right there. It kind of shows that Konohamaru grasps that like, hey, you know, Team 7, I've got to do a little bit extra for them, because once Sarada puts that Chunin vest on, that's going to be pretty much it. Unless there's a certain mission that calls for my rank for them to go on the mission, I'm not really going to be going on missions with them. That's why in Boruto chapter 58, Konohamaru was playing in the background, standing alongside Naruto as Team 7 was having their training, and Sarada was the one conducting everything. So I did think that this was a nice bit of setup right here. I thought it was very cool that we saw Team 7 take a photo together. You see how Naruto is giving the speech to all the Chunin who got promoted, and how you have the Jonin for each of the respective squads assembled there, because those Jonin are now free to essentially resume their own duties that they had before they were pulled to take over the development of a Genin team. So I thought that this was very nice right here. I thought this was a very nice, wholesome episode that has a lot of setup. And now that we have the Sarada Uchiha portion done of chapter 58 in terms of the build up for that, now we have to build up towards the Kawaki side. So this is getting very interesting right here. I can't wait to see what they're going to be doing with Kawaki next. So my question to you guys is, how did you guys feel about Sarada and Team 7 coming to the aid of Konohamaru? How do you feel about Sarada being a little apprehensive about taking up the command of Team 7 in terms of her having the gravity of the situation hit her? And what are you most going to remember Konohamaru for as the sensei of Team 7? What was your favorite moment? Was it Konohamaru versus Jugo? Was it Konohamaru versus that shinobi where he blew up that mountain, where Konohamaru blew up that hillside using the Rasengan? What is the Konohamaru moment you're going to remember most? But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.